Is it too late to buy Solana and Cardano? I'm Biko Konstantinos, and that's what we're going to consider today. Back in June 21, I looked at the top cryptocurrencies by capitalization, and I considered which were the strongest just based purely on the price charts. So looking at which ones I felt were the strongest on the price charts. Now we'll have a quick look at this video to see the results of my top 4. Now we're going to specifically focus on Cardano and Solana, which were my top 2 best buys back then in June. And we're going to look at what the price chart looked back then when I videoed my original buy video. And then we're going to compare that with the current price charts. But let's have a look at the price charts for these 4 top cryptocurrencies. Here we have the price chart of Cardano. As you can see, we've got a rising 100-day moving average, which is rising, which is good. We've got a rising 50-day moving average, which is still rising. And current price is right around that 50-day moving average. And the current price is above this significant support level. So looking quite strong, had a very nice rise there and has stayed up fairly strong. So if cryptos were going to get positive again, you could certainly see this crypto continuing to rise in the future. Okay, so this is the current chart of Cardano. As you can see, my original analysis was performed here around that 5th of June mark. So around here. So that's where the chart was at the time. It came back down to this support level around about that $1, which was very interesting. Happens a lot. But as you can see from that support level, Cardano rocketed higher, breached or surged past this previous high around about that 250 mark, created a new high just above $3 US. Since then, it's been a little bit more volatile. So what you can see is this down tail is an intra-week. Because we're on the weekly chart, what it means is the price during the week traded right down to about $2, but has since regained ground and is currently sitting around about the $2.60 US. So Cardano was looking one of the stronger ones back then in June compared to the other cryptos because it was above its support line. It was in an uptrend. It was above its longer term moving averages, and that's why it was in my top buy. And as you can see, there was a reason why it was performing relatively stronger than many of the other cryptos. There was a lot of buying support, which has now pushed it up to new highs and is still currently trading above this previous high level. Next, we have the price chart of Solana. We can see our moving averages are both rising. We can see some support level here around about that 30 mark. And then the price currently is trading in between the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, but is above this significant support level. So looking quite strong. The price isn't too far away from its all-time highs. So definitely one of the strongest cryptocurrencies out of the most valuable cryptos I've compared. Solana. What is going on here? As you can see from this chart, this is ridiculous. It's basically rising vertically at the moment. So let's have a look. So originally when I analyzed Solana and it became in my top 2 buys, it was around about this $40 US mark. It was above this support level. And as you can see with Cardano, it came down to that support level. And Solana came right pretty much perfectly at that level around $25. And from there, as you can see, some small rises. But as it's gotten going, this last week, this current week now, it's basically just shot up vertically, and it's still trading right near its highs. It is massively above its previous highs. So way stronger than Cardano. Could be possibly one of the stronger large cryptos. There are some smaller ones that have written crazy multiples because they're so small and new. But as a large crypto, unbelievable. So if you bought around about this 40-cent mark, you've only had to wait a number of weeks, not that many weeks. So each bar represents 1 week in this current chart. And then you have made, nearly 5 times that investment anywhere really around here. And if you purchased at that support level, you've pretty much made 10 times, because it's trading at $208 compared to a support level close to $20. So yeah, unbelievable. You very rarely see returns like this. And the interesting thing is, I'm not saying that I picked, these perfectly, but the interesting thing that I'm trying to share with this is, when I looked at the charts back then, the two cryptos that stood out in strength was Cardano and Solana, and that was because they hadn't dropped as much as nearly all the other cryptos, all the other major cryptos had dropped. And that's a real strong sign that there's still buying support even when the whole sector was falling massively. There was a bit of a crash in cryptos. There was worry, there was fear, there was messages from China saying that they were going to ban it, and different things were affecting cryptos. But the stronger ones that don't fall as much can often be the leaders when favor or the sentiment improves for a sector. And that's definitely happened with Cardano and Solana. So the price chart gives us clues. So even if you didn't know the fundamentals of why there's so much interest in something, the chart gives us clues, because it's showing us where there's extra strength relative to other assets within a certain sector. And so the chart, is just a great way to be able to analyze the market, look for strength. And if you have some charting skills combined with being able to research and understand the fundamentals of whatever asset you're investing in, you can have a real advantage, I believe. So what's going on with Solana, and why is it going absolutely nuts? Well, according to Money Week, if we have a look at this article, Solana, or the code SOL, has been helped by the NFT mania. What's NFT? NFT stands for non-fungible token. Basically, it's some digital asset that you can own, which your ownership is proved via blockchain. So you can own a meme, a piece of digital artwork, some audio, videos, etc., like a famous, say, YouTube video that went viral. You can actually own that if someone is selling that as an NFT, and your ownership is certified through the blockchain. So Solana did this exercise where they were used to sell a whole lot of cartoon apes, and basically people had to use Solana to purchase Solana tokens to purchase any of those Cartoon Ape NFTs. And that really helped shoot the price up, according to this article. And so NFTs, if you don't realize the hype around them, there was a piece of digital art that sold for 69.3 million at an auction, which is insane, out of this world. NFTs. So whatever's really rocketing, whatever's getting a lot of people excited, because Solana's involved in that, it certainly seems to have been helping support the dramatic rise in the price. So another reason, it's also similar to Ethereum. It's seen as a way to play decentralized finance. So getting away from government finance, looking for the cryptos being able to be another form of being able to transact digitally. And based on this article, it's saying that Solana must have better technology because it's considered cheaper and faster than Ethereum. So that's another reason that could be supporting the dramatic rise of Solana. Now back to my original question. Is it too late to buy into Cardano or Solana after they've risen so dramatically? Well, Cardano definitely has not risen as much as Solana. This just makes me laugh because it's just such an incredible return. I love seeing massive moves like this. Amazing. It's sort of like joyous to see it on a stock price chart or on a crypto chart, any sort of chart. To see a vertical move like that, it just reflects so much excitement, so much fervor, passion of people desperate to get in. So yeah, whether or not it's too late, it's difficult. Well, I can't say because nobody knows what's going to happen. So I can't say for sure. But there's a few things I can say. Once you have had a vertical move like this, the risk is much greater that there'll be some sort of retracement. So a retracement from 200, even if it was down to say 160 or 150, is a big retracement. That's quite a lot of percentage drop. So there's that risk that it could even retrace a bit. You could be sitting on a fair bit of a loss if you were to buy in now if it did retrace. Even if it went up, you could be sitting on a fairly big loss. There's also a risk that it could drop more than that. Because even if it dropped way back to 100 US dollars, then it's still strong compared to where it was back here. It's still very strong. So even a drop like that would still be a massive return from down here, but it would be a massive loss if you were to buy up here near $200 and then fell to 100 and then you felt like you had to sell because you didn't want to hold on any longer, you were afraid to lose more money, whatever the reason. So it may be a good opportunity to buy if the fundamentals remain strong and investors keep seeing value at this level. That's something you'd have to do your own research on. If you're very, very passionate about its future, certainly could go on. Something that could support continued rising in both of these cryptos would be further booming of the crypto market. The risk would be if the entire crypto market fell under more pressure, then generally all cryptos would succumb to that. It just, some would fall more than others. So in my thoughts, just looking on a charting type basis and not really understanding the NFT market and the other things that are causing so much excitement around Solana, I believe it's a a larger risk purchase in this situation, especially Solana compared to Cardano. So there's a larger risk, but there's certainly something that's creating all that excitement, and maybe that excitement will continue. I'm Biko Konstantinos, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video.